It's time for the latest Delivering Marketing Joy. This time I get to talk with entrepreneur and author David Meltzer, and he tells us how to create a legacy of kindness. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a brand new guest, someone I'm so excited to have here today, David Meltzer. He's an entrepreneur, a top executive business coach, a keynote speaker, founder and CEO of Sports One Marketing, and now the author of the new book, Game Time Decision Making. It's available now on Amazon. David, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, what a great introduction. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Very excited to speak with you about one of my favorite subjects.
Absolutely. So I got a chance to see you and kind of meet you at the Sky Sprout Summit in Columbus, Ohio recently. And you talked about a legacy, creating a legacy of reaching 1,000 people and offering them kindness. I just thought that was amazing. It's the reason I wanted to chat. So can you talk a little bit about that philosophy and why you think it matters?
Yeah, it's actually why I wrote the book. I think the ultimate decision in life, what allows us to be more productive and accessible to others and access what we want, is kindness, or kindness produces happiness. And we have a huge happiness problem, right? Most people in America are happy 15 days a year. The suicide rate is astronomical. Drug and alcohol use is astronomical. All of these things are, truly related to kindness and happiness. And so I try to do the math. I have, quite a big platform now with the TV show, the podcast, the books, the speaking, the coaching, all the videos that I do. And I started thinking, man, if I could really impact people in the world, if I could make a legacy and create something that I would think had some legs, what would it be? And initially, to be honest, I thought it'd be $100 billion like Jeff Bezos. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what, if I can make that much money, I could utilize it as a compassionate capitalist to make significant changes in the world. And then I realized that I don't know how to do that. And I'm seeking mentorship. I've made over $100 million in my life, but $100 billion is like playing golf with Tiger Woods. It's out of this world. And I just can't figure out how to shoot with Tiger Woods, and I can't figure out how to be an entrepreneur like Jeff Bezos. But what I did and what I can figure out is, what if I could empower 1,000 people with the values and lessons that I've learned? Those game time decisions that I've been able to make, the ability to evaluate things in a positive perspective. What if I was able to empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people that would empower another 1,000 people? 1,000 times 1,000 was 1,000,000. 1,000,000 times 1,000 was 1,000,000,000. I could create happiness or kindness within 1,000,000,000 people on Earth, which I think would have an extraordinary effect, even more than 100 million or $100 billion. 1 billion people happy would create its own 100 billion. So I think I answered my own question, how I could have a significant economic impact, because happy people make more money, help more people, and have more fun. And so I created the Meltzer 1000, and I'm looking for 1,000 people that have the capability of empowering 1,000 to empower 1,000. And it does take a special person. I'm willing to dedicate the time, work through, as a top business coach in the world, all that I've learned about values like gratitude, empathy, accountability, effective communication, about asking for help, about, how to use time, the infinity of time, and being a student of our calendar. And then finally, what being present means, meaning, truly do it now, and create a do it now folder where we prioritize things by importance, not urgency. And if let the little people now, if things are urgent, definitely delegate them. Do what's important. And what's really important is to be kind to your future self, do good deeds, make people happy. Let's change the world.
You talked a little bit about that at the Sky Sprout Summit, and it was like the whole place stopped, because I think there's that message resonates so well with people, because you're exactly right. There's a kindness gap, and I really appreciate what you're doing there. So the other thing I know is you talk very sort of candidly about your failures and your successes, both, right? Everybody talks about their successes, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think that level of transparency is important?
Well, I believe in frequency, and I know this is a marketing show, and what really is coming today is everybody talks about, marketing your identity, be authentic, be original. Look, you know what? My frequency is me, and I don't believe there are any mistakes. There's only miracles. The mistake I've made is not learning the lessons that have been given to me, so the lessons keep on coming until I learn them. Once I've learned them, I've made every setback a setup for the next thing in the future for me, and I am very, very excited about teaching people to find their frequency, to illuminate who they are. And it gives people a comfort level to be honest and illuminate who they are. One of my favorite things is I had a friend that flew in. He had to meet me, a Harvard, University of Chicago lawyer, Harvard undergrad, super wealthy, super successful, trying to convince me to do a business deal with him. And he spent the first 15 minutes telling me how successful and how great he was and not one problem in his entire life, especially in business. So then he said, well, tell me a little bit about you. And I basically told him the truth that, my life's been a series of lessons, and I'm trying to deal with my own ego and working through the ego-based consciousness that creates challenges for me every day. And I lost over $100 million by being an idiot, by surrounding myself with the wrong people and being an egomaniac and a narcissist and doing the wrong things. And but I learned great lessons from it, and I forgave myself, and I'm blessed to have been very, very successful afterwards. And right when I gave him that, it was like I gave him liberty to go ahead and tell me the truth. Right? All of a
Right.
sudden, he started bragging about all his failures, all the lessons that he learned. He went from being one of the supreme beings of great success into like a normal person. But I think my ability to illuminate and transcend, humility, which is something I didn't have before,
Mm.
allows other people, it liberates them to feel comfortable that, hey, I'm on my journey with this dude. I'm going to learn lessons at an accelerated rate. I'm going to be more productive, accessible to others, and access what I want. But most importantly, I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to be happy. I'm going to live a happy life. And, I'm going to live in a world of more than enough, no matter what material success I have.
Yeah, and I think that's a level of kindness from you, to be honest with you, because I think everybody has that voice. And it's like if you go, oh, okay, so other people have struggled too, that's kind. So that's awesome. So
Thanks.
if you could go back 10 years, final question for you. If you could go back 10 years with what you know, what are some things you do differently? What are some lessons you've learned? You've touched on a few.
Yeah, well, the number one lesson that I've learned is to ask, right? So the number one lesson is if anyone has a pen in their hand or their computer or their phone, write these words down. Do you know anyone that can help me? Do you know anyone that can help me? If you're not asking that every day in person, on the phone, via email or media, radio, print, TV, or social media, if you're not asking people, do you know anyone that can help me? You're not understanding how the universe works. Everyone loves to give, right? Everyone loves to give, but we're not humble enough to receive. We're not taking and creating a flow of the assets and capabilities that other people have that can enhance our lives, allowing us to appreciate it, add value to it, and give it to somebody else to create even a greater flow, to increase the vibration or frequency or identity of everyone, to create something greater than exists today. And so I would absolutely, it stems from being radically humble. I would ask for help and tell myself, ask for help. And I still remind myself, ask for help. I think all the other things like gratitude and forgiveness and accountability, being a student of your calendar and time and being present and doing things now, those are all terrific, but they're totally they're not even in the same league as if you just even one person a day. Most people on average know 1,000 people. You'll increase your network 30,000 people in a month simply by asking one person, whether you know them or not, do you know anyone that can help me? I'm looking for this, right? I'm looking to increase my knowledge of this. I'm looking for this skill. I'm looking to help this community center. I'm volunteering for them. Do you know anyone that can help me help them? Whatever it is, ask for help, ask for help, ask for help, and you will live a life of abundance.
That's amazing, and you have given me a bunch of help here. Obviously, the Game Time Decision is a new book everybody should check out. Where else can they find you? I know you've got a great podcast. Just real quick, where can folks find you?
Yeah, so my name's David Meltzer, and that's the best place to find me. Instagram at David Meltzer, LinkedIn David Meltzer, YouTube David Meltzer. My website is D Meltzer, first initial last name. That's because the guy who owns David Meltzer won't give it to me, and he uses that landing page. Hopefully you'll see some of these videos and maybe know that I'm trying to do something good. So give me back David Meltzer.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, David, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll be able to do it again sometime, okay?
I would love that. I appreciate you respecting my time, and what a great show. Let me know how I can be of service. Thank you.
You bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.